Hi, I'm Aqua, a staff on Divergent.CC. Today, I'll be expanding upon a Divergent PvP technique called rebuffing and showing you how to apply it to your gameplay. This video is going to teach you how to stay alive in PvP combat so you can deal as much damage as possible to your opponents. It will be split up into different chapters of things that you need to work on and different skills you need to hone. And I would like to mention that you need to be fast at every form of rebuffing first. If you're wondering why you are dying so often, it's most likely due to slow rebuffing. You need to get the base level mechanics down before applying it to your gameplay. If you don't know how to rebuff, there's going to be a video linked in the card in the top right to teach you. If you are having any issues, hit up a staff in the Discord and we'll get you sorted, or call an admin in-game using the @ symbol followed by your request. When you are rebuffing, you need to be playing in third person. In third person, you have more viewability and can be more aware of your surroundings. To go into third person, I recommend binding it to a key. Binding this to a key is fairly simple. You're going to want to open up your developer console by pressing the tilde key. It should be to the left of the 1 key on your keyboard. If you are having trouble with this step, you can try remapping the key in your settings to a different key and then trying again. Next, you are going to need to put a specific string of letters inside of this console. You're going to type out the word bind, followed by a quotation mark. Then you are going to want to type whatever key you want to use. I always recommend using a side button on your mouse if you have one. The one I use is going to be mouse 4. If you don't have extra mouse buttons to spare, another good one to use is the T key. After you put the key in that you wish to use, add in 2 more quotation marks. You're then going to type in enable_third person, followed by 1 last quotation mark. Now press enter. After closing the window and returning to the game, check to see if your newly bound key switches you in and out of third person. Now that you have bound a key to third person, you are also going to want to bind a key to pull out your pocket. It is vital that you have a pocket bind because there is no time to waste during a gunfight. Every second counts. To bind your pocket to a key, open your console again and type this out. Bind, quotation mark, the key that you want to use, quotation mark, use, space, pocket, quotation mark. The key that I use personally is the G key, but I've heard of players binding this to their other side mouse button as well. All of these commands are going to be put in the description of this video. You're going to want to be comfortable using these new binds, so I recommend hopping in a rebuff arena with a friend to practice. Before even getting into an encounter, I recommend using coffee. Coffee on Divergent can be obtained through the bartender class, and it gives you a permanent speed boost that is extremely useful. The most important item that will keep you alive is going to be your armor. Armor can be obtained through the black market dealer class. When popping armor, 100 is the base amount that you can have as a player. When playing in open world, however, you can become the adrenaline junkie. This job allows the player to have 200 armor and increases player survivability. As a new player, I recommend using this job a lot as you are adapting to the PvP meta and can stay alive easier. Then lastly comes your milk. This is what is going to be giving you your actual health. Milk can be obtained through the bartender class as well. Milk gives you 75 HP per with a 500 HP limit. There is no point in rebuffing milk after you are at full health. During an engagement, after taking some damage, you are always going to want to put in armor first. Armor is extremely vital when it comes to staying alive. When you have armor on, you take significantly less damage, and it allows you to out-rebuff basically anything if you keep it topped up. Whenever you lose an armor, just pop one. You only need 1 to get yourself back to full armor. The most common reason for death is because of a lack of armor, so don't underestimate its power. After popping some armor, you're going to want to drink as much milk as possible to get back up to 500 health. Most players end up waiting too long to start rebuffing. I recommend pulling out your pocket whenever you lose your armor to reapply. An experienced player will be able to kill you easily if you attempt to fight them without it. As you get better, however, you can play a little more risky. Waiting to rebuff till lower HPs allows you to get more damage off. Most experienced players call this method egoing your opponent. I do not recommend, however, egoing players if you're new. You will most of the time just end up dying. During an engagement, when you go to rebuff, you are going to want to be as hard to hit as possible to stay alive. This comes down to your movement. The easiest rebuffing technique to maintain good movement is going to be single rebuffing. When single rebuffing, you're going to want to be jumping around. This will mess up your opponent's crosshair placement and will require them to start flicking around if they wish to get headshots. You can also spam your crouch key whilst mid-air to make your player phase through the air. This technique is called crouch spamming, and you will see every high-ranked arena player doing it. There isn't much to shipment rebuffing movement, but you are always going to want to be moving while rebuffing. This may sound very basic, but most new players don't move around while shipment rebuffing. I recommend trying to be random with your movement. Most players fall into a pattern which is easy to track. Players are always trying to level up their movement. It's probably the second hardest skill to master, but after getting good movement, you will basically be impossible to kill. I also recommend holding down the shift key to keep and maintain sprinting. Sprinting allows you to move faster. There are a ton more niche movement mechanics that I could go over, but I recommend just fighting other good players and trying out what movement they do. When rebuffing, most players end up resorting to using their knife. Knives deal more damage when backstabbing compared to front stabs. With all this going on, you still need to take into account where you are facing while you're rebuffing. You always want to face towards the player that you are fighting when they're trying to knife you, but face away from them when they are shooting at you. This ensures that it's difficult for them to get headshots, but also backstabs. There are infinite amounts of ways to apply this technique to your gameplay, but this video should give you a stepping stone to jump off from as a new player. After applying all these tips, you will be able to live through basically anything in the game. You won't get better immediately. Skills take time to form, so don't give up and keep trying. I look forward to seeing you in arena and around the server.